Hi everyone, in this video I want to show you some more details of our Passkey Insights section that you find under the Analytics tab here, Passkey Insights. There's two general sections that you can look at, the total and the time series one. When we start looking at the total, we see a pie chart with all the different authenticators that the users have used to store their passkeys. We see that on the pie chart, only the ones with more than 5% share are locked. But if we scroll down, we would see a very detailed, granular overview of all the different authenticators. So from this demo data set, we can see that most users store their passkeys in the iCloud Keychain, followed by Google Password Manager and then Windows Hello. And the further we go down, the more third-party and exotic password managers we can witness. Besides just the pure Authenticator insight, we can also combine that with, for instance, the operating system, also something quite interesting. On top, it will always show shares which have more than 5% market share. And we see, for instance, iCloud, Keychain, iOS naturally with the biggest share, Password Manager, Google Password Manager, Android also. But I think things become pretty interesting when we start looking at third-party password managers. For instance, 1Password on iOS, with the 1Password market share being the highest, so macOS then follows, and then comes Windows. So some interesting things you can witness. We can also use a browser as a second dimension and see how the browser, which browser is used. For instance, when we look again at the iCloud Keychain, we see here Safari being the most used one. Besides just the pure authenticators, we can also take a look at the synced nature of our passkeys. So in this demo data set, we would also see that most are synced and that there's only a fraction of non-synced passkeys. Again, if we combine that with the operating system information, we can see that iOS and Android, most of them are synced. And when we look at Windows, we see that as of November 2025, Windows doesn't sync them yet. So that's the largest device-bound group of passkeys. But there are also, in this demo data set, 6.3% of passkeys which were created on a Windows machine but are synced. That means they are stored in a password manager that syncs them, 1Password, Bitwarden, whatever. So it's a great tool actually to get some insights also into like the transports feature or the transports tag of passkeys. What does it mean? So basically you could see when you create a passkey how this passkey can be used to authenticate. For instance, hybrid means you can use a passkey which is stored, let's say, on your iPhone or Android to log in via cross-device authentication on a laptop or MacBook by scanning the QR code and using a Bluetooth proximity check. So it's a great way to see the overall share and insights into the passkey nature, but there's also a time series. When you click on daily, here you can compare how things have changed. So for instance, when we filter, let's do it by month, we see that there's a stark drop from hybrid internal and a large increase from non-tagged ones. If we then add the operating system information and compare August and September again, we could see that hybrid internal on iOS drops and the non-tagged ones on iOS, they have this huge increase. And if we check the date, okay, maybe there's an iOS update, maybe we updated also some kind of our implementation, rolled it out to more users, and that's just one thing how you can spot certain patterns that you can take a look at. Or also if you have a look at the synced nature, we see that's fairly stable in this demo data set. Or if we check the authenticators, I think here's a small increase, but other than that, it's also fairly stable. So overall, the Passkey Insights, it's a great view to understand the nature of your users' passkeys. And if you plan any changes or if you see certain error patterns, that gives you also a good understanding how many of your users would be affected. Or if you plan, for instance, to exclude in a certain way third-party password managers, then you could also see how many of your users actually use a third-party password manager to store their passkeys.